Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I have 3 beautiful and easy farmhouse thrift flips for you. It is part of a playlist and I will explain more about that later in the video, but if you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, and thrift flips, I would love if you would consider subscribing to my channel. And as always, if you like what you see, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. But let's get started. For this first DIY that I'm doing, this is more of a flea market find, I guess. I have this wonderful antique mall that is fairly close to my house that I love to kind of go peruse the different booths and kind of see all the different fun things. This is kind of what it looks like here. But when I was there this last time, I found this really cute cloche. And I know these are really kind of in right now, and you can find them. A lot of different craft stores carry them. There's even one that I'll show you in a minute from Dollar Tree. This one was about $13, I think, which is about what you would pay anywhere else. So I feel like this might actually be a really easy one that you could replicate. But I just saw this and thought it was really cute, and it was there. And I thought, you know, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to try and update it and flip it a little bit. So I cleaned up the glass, and then I am just giving the base a coat of a dark paint. I think it's Truffle from Waverly's chalk paint. And at first I didn't like the color that it was giving, but when I started to dry it, you can kind of see in the video here, it starts to darken and take on this really different tone, almost like a, I don't want to say like a blue or gray cast to it, but I really like, you can see up close here how when it's wet and then it dries, it really does change. And I really did like that color. Now, of course, you could leave this whatever color of wood you would like to, or stain it however you would like, or sand it down. I really wanted to go for a very distressed wood piece here, but I do want to elevate this cloche. So I am taking this pedestal or this little candle stand from Dollar Tree, and I am just giving it the same treatment here. I'm painting it with that truffle chalk paint. I would recommend covering this with some Mod Podge before doing the paint. I didn't do that, and I wish that I would have, to help that paint stick a little bit better. After a couple coats, it was fine, but Mod Podge would make it go a lot smoother. And here I'm just taking a chip brush that's been dipped in just some white chalk paint and then kind of wiped off a little bit, and lightly going all around that. This is going to make it have more of a wood look to it, more distressed. You guys, if you've been here for a minute with me, you know that I love to distress things. So however much or little you want to distress is total personal preference, but I do love that farmhouse distressing. So I do go around this a little bit more to kind of brighten it up a bit. I didn't want it super heavy and super dark, but I did just kind of want a good contrast. And I do the same thing on the base of this cloche. So you can see here, I just go around all the edges on this as well. These little cloches are so fun to decorate for different holidays and different springtime things. You can put all sorts of little knickknacks in them, some little plants or florals, which is what I end up doing. I just love decorating them. I think they're so cute. Now, to get this to stick, you can use a combination of E6000 or hot glue. I just decided to do hot glue in case I decide to disassemble this at some point and want that cloche to sit flat on the table instead of on this pedestal. So I did just use hot glue. But if you want a permanent hold, use that E6000 with it. And then I have this little one that came from Dollar Tree, and it's so cute. It's all plastic, and so it's not going to break. Well, I mean, if you drop it, it's not going to break. It's not quite as fragile, I guess, as the glass one is what I'm saying. But I do put a coat of Mod Podge on that base, and since the base is already that dark brown color, I'm going to give it the same type of treatment as I did the other one. So just taking that chip brush that's dipped into the chalk paint, wipe it off a little bit, and then dry brush that on to give it a nice weathered look. And that really is all it is to do these. And then I have this little bird's nest that came from Hobby Lobby, and I just stuck a little bit of eggs in it that I put in that taller cloche. And this is just a little moss heart that is found from the wedding section at Hobby Lobby, and I just stuck those in there to kind of show you the greenery. Looks really cute. I think these look so springy, and I love this thrift flip. What do you guys think of this one? As I mentioned earlier, this video is part of a challenge playlist. What that means for you is you're going to click the playlist link that will be in my description box, and I will also pin it in my comments, and you are going to go on a thrift flip road trip. This is such a fun and unique idea. I absolutely love it. It is hosted by Teresa at Our Green Acres and Trish and Kay at the Crafting Cousins. Both of their channels will be linked down in my description box, so when you meet their stop on your journey of this road trip, make sure you stop and say hello to them. For this stop on the journey, you are visiting the beautiful state of Utah, so let's go see what other thrift flips I found and what I do with them. I feel like baskets are one of those easy things to come by at the thrift store, and I found this cute little, almost like an apple picking basket. It reminded me of something you might see at the farmer's market with like some pears, peaches, or apples or something in it. So I picked this up and I am just going to stain it with some antiquing wax. It was great the way it was, but that's not part of the challenge. The part of the challenge is to try and make it look different and try and flip it. So I'm just going to take it and make it look aged and more farmhouse, like it has kind of been sitting out in the orchard for a little while. So I just take some antiquing wax and I spread that all over, and then I wipe it off with a baby wipe, and I work in small sections so that way I'm not having it dry unevenly, if that makes sense. I really wanted to pay attention to all of the little, like the weaving and stuff in the basket and like the little open spaces. I wanted to make sure that I got all of the areas. And so for the handle, I am just taking a baby wipe that already has all of that antiquing wax. I'm just kind of trying to saturate it. And if I need to go in with my little brush to kind of add a little bit more, I do that so that way the handle matches. I'm now going in with a little bit of mineral or just a gray color of chalk paint to kind of make this look a little bit weathered, to kind of brighten it up a little bit because it is very dark, which it would be fine to leave dark, but I just kind of wanted to give it a little bit more of that little rustic look. So I'm just going in very lightly with a little chip brush and kind of spreading that around. I thought it would be really cute to kind of put the words market on this. So I started with trying to do just trace with I'm using like the Posca pens, which I think are like acrylic paint marker pens is what I'm using, and it didn't work very well. I was kind of afraid it was going to bleed really bad if I did it with straight the marker and the stencil. So I end up going in and tracing with pencil first and then go in with my little acrylic marker. But you could do this however you wanted. You could even like, you know, pounce on with a little sponge brush or stencil brush, whatever you would like to do. But I just kind of wanted to try using the acrylic paint markers. And they were kind of fun. They worked really well. I went all the way around it and kind of colored all the little staple marks you could see with that black as well. And I just think this turned out super cute. I love the colors of it. I think the contrast of it with the greenery looks so cute and so fun. Don't forget that I'm on Instagram also. I love to meet new Insta friends, so I would love for you to come over and say hi, check out my page, and see all the latest projects that I'm working on. I'll be sure and leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. How cute is this little wicker tray? I think this is darling the way that it is, but it is pretty beat up when you get looking at it really close. And so I'm just going to kind of clean it up and wipe it down. And I notice around the edges of the wicker that the paint is kind of chipped. So I just take a little white brush and go around to kind of like cover in those areas. I will distress this a little bit, but I don't really want like the brown wicker. I'm not sure if this was like painted before, like if somebody else owned it and painted over like a brown wicker or something. So I just kind of do that. And then I'm taking this is elephant chalk paint that I'm going to take on a chip brush, and I try to go in pretty light. And sometimes, you guys, like I go in and I think that I'm going to do a really light, and you can see that there's some areas on there that are really dark, but that's okay because I can go back over once it dries with a little more white chalk paint and just kind of brighten those up a little bit. And then with what is just left of the elephant chalk paint in my brush, I kind of go around the wicker there just to kind of make it look a little bit aged there. Again, completely optional how much you want to do on there. And this is where I go in with some white and I just brighten up those little dark spots that I did at the distressing. I want to use one of the Dollar Tree calendar pages on this, and it does kind of have a weathered finish to it. I'm using this one right here, this cute little bunny. How darling is this? I love this picture. I think it is so sweet, and I thought this would be really fun to kind of like put up with my cutting boards on my countertop or even in my china hutch or something like that, just kind of as a display item. I thought it would be super cute for spring and Easter. But I just think that bunny is so precious. I just love it so much. So I just make sure that the placement and everything looks good. And then if you guys have watched me at all before, you know that I love purple glue stick. I love to use it more than I love Mod Podge on these calendar pages and a lot of more heavy pieces of like paper and things, like cardstock and things. I love to use this glue stick. So that's all I'm using here. I do go over it with Mod Podge. I'll show you that in a minute. But to get it to adhere, I'm just going to rub over it with the brayer there to make sure that any bubbles or anything do get pushed out and all those edges are secure. I take my white chip brush and I go over it just a little bit to kind of make it blend in and have it have a little bit of weathered and aged look. Of course, that would be completely optional. I do wipe over this cute little bunny's eyes and nose to kind of make those show a little bit more, so that way it makes it a little bit more sharp looking. And then I just go in with Mod Podge and I go all around the base of this, and then I go around the outer part of the calendar page, and then I go over the paper itself. Hopefully that makes sense. You can kind of see what I'm doing here that I go over. And I'm doing this with a satin finish, so that way it's not super shiny or anything like that. And if there are any edges that kind of do come up a little bit just because of the Mod Podge, I just make sure I roll after that Mod Podge is dry. I will kind of push those down. But look at how cute this is. I just think this is so precious. I love this. It is perfect for spring and Easter. What do you guys think of this? Have you guys used these calendar pages like this particular one? I would be curious to know what you did with yours, but I just love how this turned out. It would also work really well on a pizza pan from Dollar Tree. So if you can't find like a tray or something like this, a pizza pan, this would be perfect for that. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching these thrift flips. I had such a fun time shopping for the items and creating these. I love them all. I would love to know if you had a favorite though down in the comments. Let me know which is your favorite of all of these. And you guys, down in my description box is going to be the link to the playlist so you can continue on the road trip of thrift flips, see who's next and what city or state or country you're visiting next. So just click that link. It will also be posted in my comments. As always, I would like to remind you to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy. Choose to have a good day because you are amazing. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and have an amazing day.